Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jet fans have spoken. A survey in The Athletic with nearly 3,000 Jet fans weighing in have hit on all the main topics we must discuss. It's the Jake Asman Show, live on a Thursday. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting in here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show, presented by PrizePicks. Busy day here on the channel as I am hosting my own show right now. I am filling in for Michael K again on the radio today from 1 to 3. This graphic is from yesterday, but my head is spinning right now, full disclosure, so I uploaded the wrong thing. But the point is, 1 to 3 again today on ESPN New York, and then I gotta run home because we're going live for the Jets Collective at 3:30 today. So not 1, not 2, but 3 total shows. I misspoke yesterday morning, thinking we had the Collective yesterday. We did not. So I am all over the place, as you could tell. My head is spinning. Training camp, though, for the New York Jets is fast upon us. Thank God. And I wasn't sure if this guy was going to show up. He was supposed to come on at 9 a.m. I was stalling, hoping he'd be there. Well, guess what? He's here. The Buffalo Jet fan joins me now, so I don't have to do this show alone. Hello, BJF.
My bad, Jake. I slept in, dude.
We've all been there, man. But I'm glad you could make it. I know you took some time off from the content space, so good to get you back on the show. How you feeling, man? I mean, have you gotten that renewed Jet optimism we normally get this time of year?
Yeah, it's starting to creep in. I don't think I'm on Green Bean Island just yet, but I'm definitely ready for football. I'll say that. I'm ready for football.
I'm definitely ready as well. Heads up, BJF, your picture's a little grainy there, so I don't know if your camera is properly connected or whatnot, but I'm glad you could join us. We're going to break down the results of a survey by Jet fans in The Athletic that Zach Rosenblatt put together. We'll get BJF's camera situated here shortly. So the concept of this is pretty cool. So shout out to Zach for putting this together. He asked Jet fans a series of questions a couple weeks ago. People filled out a survey online, and then we have all the results, and we can break down the results right here on the show. So the Buffalo Jet fan is with us, and we'll go through each one, weigh in on what we would have voted. In fact, I actually filled out the survey, so I did vote when Zach posted this. But without further ado, let's kind of get into it here. I do want to mention that this is our only show on the day, so we're only going to do one raffle spin, and that will be at the end of the show. If we get 20 entries, we're going to raffle away a Jets Legends jersey. So make sure you enter for your chance to win. You'll be entered in our weekly Asmaniac raffle as well. So, survey says, first question of the survey, what is your confidence in Aaron Glenn as a head coach? And neutral won at 37.3%. Very confident was the first choice, 3.7%. Confident, only 17.1%, unconfident, 30.8%, very unconfident, 11%. This surprised me a little bit. I figured unconfident would be a higher percentage of the vote than just neutral of the 2,607 responses to this question. But I think the reason why it's neutral and not unconfident as the majority Buffalo Jet fan is because Aaron Glenn played for the Jets. If he had no Jet ties, I think the survey results would be a little different here. What say you?
I also think it might be a little bit different if this was taken right after the season ended. You know, a little bit little bit of time and distance away from that season. Yeah, but if you look at it, so 2/3 really are either neutral or unconfident, which kind of makes sense. I think this is about what I would have expected. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe I would have thought you could have inverted neutral and unconfident a bit, but about what to expect. We still have some 3.7% who are really still believing.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain people in this fan base that, no matter what, we're going to try and find a way to defend the guy. I think if you look at the results here, I mean, unconfident is 30.8%, and then
Mhm.
very unconfident is 11. So if you combine neutral, unconfident, and very unconfident, that's kind of where I think the fan base is at, and that's fair. There's a question later on in the survey: how many games does Aaron Glenn have to win to survive? So we'll cover that then. But here's the next question in the survey: biggest concerns from Aaron Glenn's first season. What about Aaron Glenn's performance in his first season concern you the most? 51% of Jet fans who took the survey said game management. Defensive performance was 30.4%. Press conferences, 6.1. Roster management, 3.3. Everything / all the above, 2.8. And other, 6.4. What would you vote if you filled out this survey, Buffalo Jet fan?
I I might put defensive performance, to be honest, just because I know that he wasn't the defensive play caller last year, but just how bad that um, defense was. That as a defensive coordinator or a defensive head coach, and now he's going to be the play caller. But yeah, overall game management. It's again, it's been the season's been so long ago, but I definitely remember there were some gaffes where we were thinking, man, do you go for it then? Or I think there was one point where I think he mentioned that he would have done something differently, and then a very similar situation came up, and I think he did the same thing. So yeah, there were definitely some learning moments there from an overall game management perspective, especially when you're not calling plays, and that kind of puts the onus on you to really be on top of those things. So I'm not really surprised by the results here either.
I mean, I feel like I would be one of the fans who put everything / all the above, because the game management was bad last year. The performance of the defense, while he wasn't the coordinator, he's still a defensive minded head coach who hired Steve Wilkes, was an unmitigated disaster. The press conferences didn't do him any favors. That's not why I'd be concerned about Glenn, but it's one of those
Right.
things where if you don't come across as likable and you're cocky and arrogant, and then you have that type of performance, it's going to be used against you. The roster management, he had a lot to do with Xavier Gibson being on the team for week one, Michael Clemens being on the team. Obviously, everything he said about his coaching, man, it's coaching. And then no one really got any better. And the Fields debacle. So that's part of it. I think everything is kind of baked into the anti Glenn Pie that some fans feel. So I'd be one of the 2.8% that said everything / all the above. I wonder what other is. Are we missing anything else as far as
Yeah,
responsibility coach?
I don't know because I feel like Zach, he covered all of his bases. That's a pretty decent chunk for other. I don't know what
Right.
else you could really have there.
What else could it be? I wonder. What else could it be?
Maybe they don't
Uh,
like his goatee. They don't like that it's dyed white.
Maybe so. If you're watching live right now, appreciate everyone joining us here. Buffalo Jet fan, we were going to have them, and then I didn't think we were going to have them, and we have them. So I'm so glad that we got BJF here on the show this morning. We'll do some other stuff with the Buffalo Jet fan as well, get his thoughts on the roster, some training camp preview. We're going through a survey of Jet fans that the Athletics' Zach Rosenblatt put together. So if you're watching live right now, that is the topic. I want to remind people to hit the like button and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Let's continue going through the survey in the Athletic. The third most important question here involving the head coach: confidence in Glenn as a defensive play caller. Buffalo Jet fan, what is your confidence level in AG as the defensive play caller? 40.4% said they are confident. 33.7% said neutral. 12.1% said unconfident. 9.4% said very confident, and 4.4% said very unconfident. Again, confident 40.4 got the majority of the votes. Your thoughts on this?
I would say probably neutral is where I'm at with AG. Now, I definitely think it'll be a step up from Steve Wilkes, and obviously the personnel that they have will be a lot better. In Detroit, it's tough because the first year they were really bad, but their talent was horrific. And then the last year, he really got a lot out of a mash unit there with all those injuries. But then they got like a 45 burger put on them by a rookie in the playoffs. So I think the totality, I've done the math before, the totality of his defensive coordinating is like somewhere in like the teens. So like slightly below average, his defenses, if you look at like DVOA, things like that. So he's probably about average, I would say. I can't completely absolve the Steve Wilkes of it all from last year, but I think it'll still be better with him on the reins and just some better talent. So I'd say I don't think him calling the defensive plays is really anything I would point to as a massive strength or a massive weakness of the team, to be honest.
I feel like the Jet defense is going to be a lot better this year because it can't be any worse. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a good unit. And what concerns me about Glenn, I'd say the last year in Detroit, he had a good defense. The other three left a lot to be desired. I don't think this is like a defensive guru here that's taken over. I think he's a guy who could raise the floor, given the fact they do have some good players on that defense. And, they have some veteran leaders who have seen a lot. So hopefully can adapt quickly to what Glenn is preaching.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's like more than half of the unit is new starters. And I think getting guys like Minka and DeMario Davis, who are at least veterans, are going to be in the right spot. I still think there's some questions on the back seven of their defense with the competition that they have at corner, the other safety spot. But what they added with the defensive line, I think the defensive interiors and the depth they have there, and now like 4 viable names at edge, the defensive line is going to be much improved.
The next question in the survey, and again, I didn't take every question. I just took the ones that I thought mattered the most to the fan base. The next question is confidence in Frank Reich as an offensive coordinator. What is your confidence level in the OC, Frank Reich? We'll go through each vote outcome first. Very confident, 5.6%. Confident, 32.5%. Neutral, 43.8%. That's where I voted in this category. Unconfident, 14.9%. And then very unconfident, 3.2%. BJF, your thoughts on Frank Reich? Your vote in this survey would be?
My vote would also be either neutral to unconfident. I do think it's better that Reich is, I would say neutral if I had to stamp it. I think it's better that there is a veteran quarterback, just because I'm not going to say that he ruined Bryce Young, but that was the most recent example of we had of him trying to groom a young quarterback. And when they switched to Canales, obviously things got a lot better. But with Reich and Geno, they kind of gives you a floor of at least you have 2 people at that position who you could point to somewhat recently have had some success. But Reich, you have to go back a little bit further than Geno Smith. To be honest, I was somebody who didn't think it would be the end of the world if Tanner Engstrom got a second year. I was kind of in that camp. So, but once you get rid of him, you probably don't get rid of him for another rookie. So you bring in a veteran that Glenn can really trust to be fully hands off on the offense. So I think that makes sense. But again, I'm not pointing to Frank Reich as a like really schematic advantage that we're going to have over other teams, nor am I looking at him like he's some sort of Nate Hackett. So I think it's kind of a mid higher.
Yeah, that's why I'm at the neutral ranking, because I think given the other options, once they decided to move on from Engstrand, which great offensive mind was dying to work with Geno Smith, right? And at the time, we didn't even know who the Jet quarterback was going to be. It wasn't a great job. The coach is on the hot seat. You're working with a 35 now to be 36-year-old quarterback who has thrown 32 picks the last 2 years. So I'm neutral on Reich. He's got experience. But let's bring something up that you mentioned in a recent video of yours that I was watching. Aaron Glenn has coordinated his unit more recently than Frank Reich has coordinated his unit. So you just hope Frank Reich has something left in the tank here to be a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's been a minute. And the thing about the NFL is, we as Jet fans, we've been burned before by, this guy's 1 year removed from this, 2 years removed from that. And how often do we see that 2 years ago version? It typically just keeps going down. But obviously coaching, it's more of a mental thing than guys getting washed physically. The hope honestly, or maybe the cope would be I remember the Chan Gailey hiring being met with a very similar reaction. Like, this guy's old, this guy doesn't have any ingenuity. Well, it just felt very random out of the blue when they brought him in. And he was matched together with Fitzpatrick, who was kind of like, obviously, time is a flat circle, gets the shot because of Geno, who was just kind of a journeyman, who was an afterthought. So can Frank Reich and Geno Smith be 2015 Changalia and Ryan Fitzpatrick would be the hope there. They have enough offensive talent to help them out. I think the offensive personnel on this team, assuming these rookies kind of hit, there's some stuff to work with for sure.
No doubt. And I just feel like so much of it is obviously Geno Smith, but you look at the talent on the offensive side of the ball, BJF, remove Jets from the helmet and say it's the Bills that had these players, I think there'd be a lot more hype. I think because we're talking about the Jets and it's Geno and it's everything that encapsulates how bad the Jets have been when you associate talking football or with the Jets, I feel like some of the offensive personnel that Wright gets to work with is being slept on. So if he is capable of that Chan Gailey type of year and Geno is protected, which I think he should be with this line, I don't think there's I don't think it's impossible to fathom the Jets actually having a solid offensive attack this year.
No, I think honestly, if you swapped the Bills and the Jets skill position units, I think the Bills would get better. Like, I'm not taking that trade if the Jets. So it's mainly like a quarterback difference there. Yeah, they go really deep to where you don't even know. Think about years past where we would be looking at like Tim Patrick to be a starter. Like Tim Patrick and Arian Smith would be duking it out to start on like Sam Darnold teams. Where now it's like, oh, A.D. Mitchell, if he's the starter in 12 personnel, Omar Cooper Jr., is he a first-round pick that's, kind of biting at the heels trying to get some playing time? And Breece Hall, one of the highest paid backs in the league. So the investments have definitely been made. And that's something I like that they did. It's what the Chicago Bears did with Caleb Williams. They came in, they're like, we're trading for 3 veteran offensive linemen. We already have Cole Kmet, but we're taking Loveland. We already have, Ruma Dunze and DJ Moore, but we're taking Luther Burden. And they just made it an overinvestment. And they said, at the very least, it helps that Ben Johnson too and Caleb Williams. But at the very least, they were not going to let a lack of investments be a reason that to hinder Caleb Williams' development. And I think they're trying to do the same thing for whoever they draft in 2027.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We got more survey results to get into here. Only show on the day, and we're going to have limited shows the next couple of days here because of my radio schedule. So why don't we do this? We need to get some memberships in our weekly raffle, which I'm targeting for Sunday. Everything is double for this show. Everything. 1 is 2, 5 is 10. Enter at the end of the show for your chance to win a Broadway Joe Namath jersey. Joe Klecko, Curtis Martin, friend of the show, Wayne Corbett, Darrell Revis, Nick Mangold, or Keyshawn Johnson. Weekly prizes for Sunday include the Revis signed pylon, a Chad Pennington signed jersey, and a Breece Hall signed helmet, plus another chance to win a Jets Legends jersey. As we continue to go through the survey here that the Athletic put together of Jet fans, this next one involves Darren Mougey. What is your confidence level in the general manager? Jet fans seemingly confident, 49.2% the winner here of confidence in Mougey. Very confident is 35.4. So you combine those numbers and you see the vast majority of the fan base seems to like themselves some Darren Mougey. Neutral, 12.1%. Unconfident, 2.2%. Very unconfident, only 1%. I put confident in my response here, so I went with the majority of that 49.2. Buffalo Jet fan, what say you as far as confidence goes in Darren Mougey?
I would say that I'm probably neutral. Like I think that the roster acquisition component of the Mougey and Glenn tandem has definitely led a little bit more reason for optimism than the on the field coaching. But to me, it's kind of when I was duking it out with the people who really still believed in Joe Douglas at the end, and I'm like, man, it's the product on the field to an extent. So they both fielded one team, Mougey and Glenn, and it was historically atrocious. So I think he's getting the benefit of the doubt of having a lot of high picks. And then there's a lot of excitement. It's kind of like the 2022 draft. I think the biggest feather in their cap is the trades of Quinnen Williams and of Sauce Gardner, because I think that's one of the reasons why you do have a little bit of hope. If they still had those players who were expensive and Quinnen's a little older, the roster would just feel like and you're expensive at weird places, don't have as much to invest on offense. That was big. And then I think even getting guys like Briggs and Brownlee, kind of an eye for talent around the margins, even if it's someone like Brownlee who could be a role player for you, who you trade for a 7th-round pick. So there's some nice stuff there. I'm neutral. If some of these rookies pop, then I will bump it up to confident for sure. I think free agency was kind of tough for them last year, and I'm just waiting for one of these mid-round picks to just hit, because we haven't had a 3rd-round multiple year starter drafted since Jordan Jenkins, and we haven't had a 4th-round multiple year starter drafted since Bilal Powell. So that would be a really nice, good omen if one of these the 3rd or 4th round picks just goes out there and looks like a dude. I'm kind of waiting for that for Mougey to bump me up the scale here.
That is a great take. And by the way, I want to give some love to Robbie Sabo, who's watching the show. How is game planning not a category for the Glenn fan survey? That is by far the most important thing. I guess that would fall under the category of other, because, I mean, if you think about it, Aaron Glenn putting together a game plan with his staff, that's a big part of today's NFL, the X's and O's, all that. So game management, defensive performances, presser, roster management, everything / all the above, other. I agree. Putting together a game plan every week should be its own thing. I think that's a good suggestion there by Robbie Sabo, and it makes sense considering Robbie, in addition to running JetX, is a high school coach, so he understands how all that goes. Your thoughts on that comment there from Robbie?
Yeah, I would say that what coaches do Tuesday to Saturday is probably more impactful than the decisions that they make on Sunday. I think that's fair.
Peter Castro, game planning not mentioned because there was none. Peter, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Let's keep going through the results of the survey here, then I'll hit Buffalo Jet fan with some other interesting Jet topics that are on all our minds. The next question in the survey involves Aaron Glenn and how many wins does AG need to make it to 2027. 7.7% of Jet fans said 4. 8.9% of fans said 5. 32% said 6. The majority here was 38.2% saying 7, and 8 or more came in at 13.3%. I voted 7. Not that I would definitely keep him if he had 7. I'm basing it on what I think Woody Johnson would do, and I think he doesn't want to fire Glenn. He wants this to work. He's invested in Glenn. It's the first coach he's hired since Bulls a decade ago. So I think I would go 7 here if I'm looking at it through the lens of Woody. Personally, I'd love to see 8, because 8 would be more than anyone's won since 2015. And if he wins 8, you could say, okay, there's real progress. You have cap space, picks. Let's move forward. 7 could be misleading. It's how they get the 7. It's how it looks that matters. So I'm going to sit here and say 7 and he's back, but I'm not overly confident that would necessarily be the right move, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 7 is I talked about this on, I think it was my live stream I did last night, but 7 would be the bare minimum that you could really have any sort of confidence that the team is on the right trajectory heading into 2028. Because if it's another 5 or wins, and you have to convince yourself, oh, well, if we switch out Geno and then there's a new offensive coordinator and you're counting on all these other variables again with the same GM and the same head coach, I think that'd be tough to sell. But 7 is, you're more than doubling your win total, and they got to get into the normal range and things like DVOA and net points that kind of track how you do it. Outside of the win total, of course, it can't be an Adam Gase where you start off 1 and whatever, and then you win some games late. But 7 would be the bare minimum, and I don't think that the talent on the roster, I don't think that's an unfair ask. Like, they have an NFL roster. I don't think it's a good NFL roster, but you look around the different position groups and you're like, yeah, they have NFL players on this team. Robert Saleh was able to squeeze out 7 wins back-to-back years with traffic cones at quarterback. So that should be the bare minimum.
Well, I think the bottom line is this: the roster might not be elite, might not be playoff caliber, but there's enough players here where if you have competent coaching, you should be able to win at least 7 or 8 games. You just should. Again, everyone's schedule every year, you never know. But I watched Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Joe Flacco, Trevor Siemian, back-to-back seasons, starting the vast majority of those games, win 7 games each year. Mike White, We're not asking for much here, and I think Neil made a really good comment here. Like, part of it is not just the win total. It's like who the wins are against. Like, can they have a signature win this year? Like, Salah beat Green Bay in that second year. He beat Denver on the road in that second year. He beat the Bills one time. Like, be better in the division. Go out there and get off to a decent start. Salah, for all his issues, had the Jets at 6-3 and 7-4 in his second year before Mike White got hurt and the team collapsed. How they look matters to me more than whatever the final win total number is, because there's a difference in the Adam Gase 2019 7-9 season and the 7-10 season Robert Saleh had in 2022. Like, not all 7-win seasons are created equally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. And I think like 7 wins is probably the minimum for how it looks really matters. Because even if you say, well, it was 5 wins, but all their losses were really close, like, no, but also if it's 9 wins, it doesn't matter how it's looked, they're going to be back. So I think 7 wins is kind of that criteria where how it looks will matter. Like, does Cade Klubnik play the last couple of games and he looks pretty good, so they're confident about that. But yeah, at 7 wins is the absolute minimum, I would think. I mean, you do play the Dolphins twice, and you play Michael Floor, and you play the Browns. You gotta clean up on those, even the few games you're favored in, or even the 50-50 games, like, Robert Saleh in Tennessee. I know you've said it's a must win, and maybe it's not a must win, but I'll put it this way: if the Jets are to have a surprise season where they go out there and they're like a 9-8 team and they're competing, they're in the mix for a wild card like the last 2 weeks of the season, winning week 1 would have to be a part of that formula. I don't see a way around that. So I'll at least frame it that way. If it's not a must win, if you're going to really be that surprise team, I think that's got to be one of the ones that you clip early on.
Well, if you win week 1, conceivably, maybe you could find a way to win one of your next 3. And if you're 2-2 before you play the Browns, you win that, you're 3-2. You lose to the Patriots, you're 3-3. Dolphins, Raiders, each at home. Got to win those games. All of a sudden, the New York Jets are 4-4 through 8. And if you're 4-4 through the first 8 weeks of the year, you're playing meaningful football into the month of December and potentially December at that point. You're giving this fan base an actual season. We didn't get a season last year. The date of that Raider game is November 1st. You win that and they're 4-4. You go into the month of November and the Jets
clinch having a season. Clinch a real season.
They're going to be alive. Forget in the hunt. It's having a season is a new.
They should put a little graphic, like a little star next to it, like season clinched.
Like relevant into November. Yeah. They've done it. Like, again, 4-4 through 8 is reasonable, I believe, if Aaron Glenn is a competent head coach. Unless Geno Smith is just horrific, or he gets hurt like Rodgers did, and just Cade Klubnik and Bailey Zappi, they're screwed. I don't think asking to be 4-4 through 8 is incredibly unreasonable for a team that does have some players on it.
No, Geno is a big variable, because unlike Fields, they were hoping to kind of create something that never quite existed. But with Geno, you could point to, it's like, oh, you want to get the Geno from 2 years ago. So if Geno looking like he did in 2023 on Seattle or last year, that alone is like could be like a 3-win swing right there. So I think the offense is a bit high variance with what you're getting from Geno and how the rookies kind of pop.
I think that is incredibly well said. John J. Williams in the Asmaniac raffle with a $10 Zelle. We're doubling everything. I'm only doing one show on YouTube today, and we only have had a limited amount of shows this week because I've been doing radio every day now, including tomorrow. I'm filling in for Bart Scott. So I'm on from 10 to 1 tomorrow, so we might not have any shows at all. So get your entries in for the Asmaniac raffle on Sunday. John is in for 4 because we're doubling everything. Hit it. Away a Jets Legends jersey at the end of the show. Let me give some love to our guy Cisco Lopez. Good to have Cisco back watching the show live. Cisco sent me a note on Discord that One Jets Drive used my voice in their latest episode. So I haven't seen it yet, Cisco, but thanks for the heads up there. And this is for you.
Sometime I do super chat. Sometime I do give membership. But all the time I love the Jake Asman show. They call me Cisco Lopez.
Cisco Lopez in the Asmaniac raffle for 20 entries. Everything is double today because we're only doing one live show. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Some other topics I want to hit with you. What do you make of the dynamics of the Glenn Mougey relationship going into the year? Do you believe, like many, that it's now Darren Mougey kind of superseding Aaron Glenn in the hierarchy in the organization?
I have no idea. This is Francesa's scoop, right? That's what he's
So
the guy
he said
who-
it, but if you listen to some of the comments from other guys on the beat over the last few months, it's very clear that they're also implying that there's been some sort of change as well. Like Mike might have been the first to say it, but after the initial pushback, I do the podcast with Samini every week, for example, now. Like Rich has basically said Mougey and Glenn are no longer or not. He even said attached at the hip.
Oh, okay. I didn't. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me because Woody Johnson is the type to have confusing and ambiguous like power and chain of command dynamics all the time. So, and he's also very perceptive to like news and how the team is feeling. So if he's hearing that the media is saying, "Well, we like Muji, but I'm not sure about Glenn," like, yeah, I could definitely see Woody Johnson doing that. I mean, I don't know that that's happened, but it's pretty on brand for Woody if that is the case.
I actually think it's the right decision too, because I think Darren Mougey is way more qualified to do his job than Glenn is to be both head coach and final decision maker. I just think let Aaron Glenn get his bearings and prove he could be a good head coach. Like start with the defense, man. Get that rolling. Make that look a lot better. Handle your responsibilities as a head coach before we put all this on your plate. Whereas Mougey, I think, has done a nice job in the moves he's made, showing that he might have a real plan. The big swing is going to be at quarterback when that day comes, and maybe he'll get a chance to hire a coach. But I think if you're a Jet fan, there's a reason why the vast majority of the answers in that survey were either confident or very confident in Darren Mougey. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, I think Woody's idea was I'm just going to have a football guy who's kind of the face and in charge of all the decisions, trying to kind of find his parcells. But I think that was a lot to put on a first year head coach who, you know, maybe didn't have the experience or the resume for that. And then he kind of like maybe after how the season went, maybe panicked and switched some things up. So I'm sure eventually there will be an Athletic article about it where we get all the details to how this went down
It's coming at some point, man. It always does.
on his
Aaron-
birthday, right?
Yeah, right. Oh man, Aaron checks in. He's in the raffle with this super chat here. Everything is double. So Aaron, you got 4 raffle tickets with your name on it. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm just hoping we can be competitive. I'm afraid Glenn will tell us during training camp we had great practices at start. Oh, it's 7. LOL. Shake my head. This is not even just a Glenn thing. Every Jet coach has said they have a great week of practice and then they stink. I'm just hoping one day the Jets will televise all their practices in season Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because if they're such a great practice team, at least let the season ticket holders and the fans get a chance to watch that instead of the garbage they put out there on the field every Sunday.
Yeah, we got to get the all 22 of the elite practices.
So here's a question I've thought of, right? You look at the schedule. Obviously, week 1 is, I believe it's a must win. I think it's incredibly important, regardless if people think it's a must win or not. If they were to get off to another one of those starts, they lose week 1.
Right.
And it's the Packers, the Lions, the Bears. Let's say they're 0-4. If they were to lose to the Browns and they're 0-5, is Aaron Glenn fired? Like, what would have to happen for him to lose his job in season, in your opinion?
Well, just that might do it because we know with how Woody fired Saleh in season, it was just him being embarrassed. And I think an 0-5 start and a loss to, Deshaun Watson and Todd Monken might do it. I also don't know. It's tough though, because what does that accomplish? Like switching to Reich at that point, you might want to just try and get that number 1 pick.
Right, I would just leave Glenn at that
No.
point. Like,
Yeah. I mean, maybe at the bye week you could see a change. I do think that he's the coach the entire year. I think that Woody is given every single head coach at least 2 full seasons. I think he's the coach for the entire year regardless, and then we'll see what happens at the end of it.
comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. The Buffalo Jet fan hanging out with us here on the show. I have pinned the call-in link, so if you want in, now is certainly the time. The other thing I want to hit you with, BJF, is your expectations for this rookie class. You're a huge draft guy. I know you're studying these guys year round now. I was listening to you talk about some of your summer scouting on the quarterbacks, which I want to get your early thoughts on. But just in terms of this rookie class, let's start with one of the questions that was in the survey. Which Jets rookie are you the most excited about going in the training camp?
Probably Sadiq, because I think Sadiq is the one who he was a very fascinating prospect. And I think that there's a little bit of a boom or bust tag with him. So I really want to see how he is in the pecking order of the receivers and how much work he's getting with the first team. Because we know Bailey's going to be out there at edge, 60+% of the snaps. I'm pretty confident D'Angelo Pons is going to win that starting nickel job over Jarvis Brownlee Jr. But Sadiq is fun, man. We haven't had a player at the tight end position who athletically really could stress defensive coordinators. I mean, Dustin Keller for a bit before he got hurt. But tight end might be the worst position in our franchise's history. It's probably worse than quarterback. Tyler Conklin ranks very high in a lot of all-time Jets stats at the tight end position. Jeff Cumberland is like 9th all-time in catches by a Jets tight end. So if Sadiq pops, he could be like him and Mickey Schuler will be the two best tight ends in Jets history pretty quickly. So I'm excited to see him.
David Bailey. I know you were an Arvell Army guy, right? So Bailey's the pick at 2. What are reasonable expectations for David Bailey in year 1 with the Jets?
I was actually like one of the only 2 Ruben Bain guys. But Bailey, I think, you want to see him out there. You don't want him being subbed out on rundowns. Even if he has to improve the run defense, he's going to have to cut his teeth through that and playing a lot of reps. So I think you want him out there, 60% of the snaps minimum. And I would say, 7 sacks, maybe 50+ pressures is about fair for him. Edge is a position where guys, even players who end up being really good, don't necessarily produce right away. But you want to see the flashes. I think even Abdul Carter last year with the Giants really didn't put up a ton of stats, but the back 7 or 8 games of the season, you could be like, all right, this kid has the juice. And that was reflected in like his pass rush win rate and pressures. So I think even the pressures might be more important to track than the sacks, but you want to get at least 50 pressures, I would say, and chip in 6 or 7 sacks.
I'm presented by PrizePicks. Use code HMA. When you go on PrizePicks and you look at the sack number for David Bailey, it's 6.5. So if you're going more or less, you got money on the line here, Buffalo Jet fan. Would you go more or less with David Bailey on PrizePicks?
I'll say more because I think there could be a game where they run into a backup tackle and his speed is just too much, and he could get he could have a Will McDonald game where he gets 2 or 3. So I'll hit the 7 there.
You're going with more. I like it. Look, I feel like this number is probably around what it should be, because if you look at Myles Garrett in his first year, I believe he had 7 or 7.5. So sacks don't always tell the full story, but I do think Bailey is capable of having at least 7 in year 1. I don't think this is an unreasonable number by any means.
Right. And he's also he's not one of those guys that was 20 on draft night. Like he had 4 college seasons, so he should be ready to go.
Totally agree. How about the other rookies? We mentioned Sadiq. We went through Bailey. What do you expect from Omar Cooper? Because there's been a lot of talk this summer about A.D. Mitchell, and then all of a sudden you have Sadiq and Basin Taylor. Brees is going to get some touches out of the backfield. Cooper was a first-round pick, wide receiver. What's his role in the offense this year?
I have no idea. It's funny. We always do these like stat predictions each year, and it's kind of a futile effort anyway. But typically, we at least think we know the pecking order, and then we're like, okay, how many yards do we think they're going to get, and then divide it up by the pecking order. But I think that if they're going to run a lot of 12 personnel, I do think A.D. Mitchell has a pretty good path to be that other wide receiver, because he is a prototypical X wide receiver. He's got NFL experience, and he's a tall vertical threat. So he's kind of got a niche skill set in the offense. And then obviously Garrett's going to play a lot. So Cooper Jr. might really be competing almost with Mason Taylor. Like, does him or Mason Taylor force their hand to play more 11 or 12 personnel? But I think he's going to play a lot in the slot. I think he's really comfortable there. He played a bit in 2024, but almost full-time slot at Indiana. last year. And I think he, even more than Sadiq, is going to be the designed touch guy. And I know that we've been burned by that with guys like Corley. Obviously, he's a better route runner and all that than Corley. And I don't think he's going to demand Devontae Adams, give him $5 million for a jersey number or whatever else we found out after the fact. But I think he's going to be a slot guy who can get 20 design touches throughout the year. And I really like his ability to win quickly off the line of scrimmage. And he doesn't have the best long speed, but his film was littered with a really, really nice release package who can get you some of those slot fades just because he wins so quickly. But with Cooper Jr., I don't know, Jake. I think after Garrett, I don't know if there's going to be a pass catcher that like has over 700 yards. I think it's going to be Garrett and then a big gap and then a lot of guys chipping in, because between Brees, AD, Sadiq, Cooper Jr., Mason Taylor, like you go put those guys in almost any order. So I don't know if there's going to be somebody who really separates themselves as the number 2, at least this year.
And finally, your thoughts on D'Angelo Ponds. And I already know your thoughts because I saw a recent tweet of you saying this guy's going to be good. So just how good are we talking for Ponds in year 1?
Yeah, he was one of my favorites in the draft class, and I like that. Yeah, I didn't think the Jets were going to take him because Aaron Glenn really likes size at corner, so he was a player they made an exception for, and he was historically good analytically and athletically. So I think he should win the starting nickel job straight away in camp. I think he's probably the most physically gifted corner they have on their roster right now. And depending on how much they run nickel, whatever it is, 65%. So play 65% of the snaps, be at starting nickel and be at least an average starter right away. It's a position and draft slot where that is a more than reasonable expectation. Be an average starting nickel year 1 and get me 2 interceptions.
How about one of them in week 1? Picks off Cam Ward, takes it to the house. New era of Jets football is upon us.
They really got to get a pick week 1. They can't. The streak has to end. They gotta. It's because it's gonna keep being a thing. If they don't, as long as they don't do it.
The crowd pop if they did it at home in week 2 in the home opener, that would be off the charts. It almost reminds me of when the Jets finally got that roughing call to go their way against the Chargers in that Monday night game in 2023. The fans gave a standing ovation because the refs finally gave the Jets a roughing the passer call. I mean, imagine that with an interception.
Absolutely bludgeoned. They would just let it go.
It was insane. Absolutely insane. I got time for at least one call with you, BJF, because this guy can't seem to figure out the concept of the link is pinned. So he's got to separately text me, what's the link every time? Ladies and gentlemen, he might have been one of the most intoxicated Jet fans at our event in AC on Saturday. It's time.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
Jake, baby.
Hello,
BJF. What?
man.
What's happening, BJF? I mean, I wish I saw you in Atlantic City. I want to meet you, BJF. What, can we get you to a game? What's the story? Why don't you come to Nashville, bro? Come on. We'll get you there. We'll get you there. Come on. That's our Super Bowl, dude.
I would love to smoke a cigar with you, Neil. I'll see what I could do. Absolutely.
Thank you. Hey, look up in the sky. It's all smoke from Canada. I want to thank Canada for smoking up the atmosphere. They can't blame my cigar smoke on the atmosphere now. Look up in the sky. It's supposed to be blue skies, and it's smoke because of Canada. How ridiculous is that? Anyhow.
I thought it was because of you, so that's good to know.
Yeah, I can't get blamed. That's what I say, Jake. It's not just local. It's all around the whole island. I don't know. Is it in the city to smoke or no, Jake?
I haven't been outside yet, so I'm not sure.
How about where you are, BJF?
No, it's really bad. It's really bad where I am.
Yeah, I think, because you're north of us, so it's starting up there. Anyhow, as far as Glenn is concerned, and I put that in the chat. We have to win divisional games, guys. I mean, we have to be 3-3 in the division at minimum this year to really show, because our division, if you look at it roster wise, it's really the weakest it's been in like 5 seasons, in my opinion. I mean, Buffalo, I think, is taking a step back. They have a new coach. Let's face it. How many games do you think, with the way Josh Allen plays, guys? He's got to get hurt one of these days. I mean, it's got to happen because the guy is never hurt. He plays hurt, but he takes so many risks running the ball that I just think it's time for something to happen to Josh Allen and for him to get injured at some point in this season. I can't believe he's going to go another 17 games plus playoffs getting the shit kicked out of him when he runs the ball, and he's going to come up and never get injured. I just see. So Buffalo, I think, is not what they were, especially defensively the last few seasons. Miami, I mean, our roster is better than Miami, and we haven't been able to beat them in how many seasons? I mean, what's our record against Miami the last 5 seasons? Have we? I mean, we beat them once at the end of the season, and
We
a
never beat
meaningless game.
Tua. Tua's undefeated against them.
Right. I mean, it's time for us to win against Miami here, and they're ripe for the picking. Their roster sucks, and New England is coming off a lot of controversy and the whole Rossini thing, and I think they're going to have a little bit of a hangover, and they lost some players. So we have to be 3-3 in the division. If we go 0-4, Jake, to add to your comments about him getting fired after an 0-4 start, I think Woody did something this year, and I think he's giving Glenn an ultimatum. He's saying, look, you take over the defense. Reich is going to handle the offense. I don't see Glenn being involved, and I'm very interested to see in camp how many times that he's actually involved with the offense this year. I doubt it's going to be at all. So what I think we're going to see a lot of in camp is defense against offense, who wins the day, yada, yada, yada. Now, if we go 0-4 and we lose 2 games because the defense blew a last drive and we blew the game defensively, but the offense is playing over, at a much better rate, and the defense is the reason we're 0-4, I think he's gone. I think Woody is giving him that ultimatum. You have to have a top. If I'm Woody, BJ, I think about this, Jake. I didn't fire you. I'm giving you another shot. He comes in there wanting him to hire a defensive coordinator. He laughs at him and says, listen, I'm paying you top 5 coaching money in the league, and you want me to go hire another D coordinator after what you gave me last year? And the fact he didn't even take the defense over after it was so abysmal is another indictment against him. I'd be saying, look, your defense right now, I'll get you some players. If you're not top 15 by the end of the season, or if you're not really off to a good start defensively, you're gone. I mean, you're of no value to the team, because his only value now is his superpower of play calling. That's the only thing he has left in his little notebook. He failed in everything else. This is his one last chance, right? What do you think, guys?
Well, I think there's something to the fact that you're just the head coach, and now you're taking over the unit that helped get you the job in the first place, your area of expertise. You hired a veteran offensive coordinator. You got a veteran quarterback. You shouldn't need to babysit the offense. Get your unit back to respectability. Be better in game with your decisions on clock management, and be just better overall putting together your game plan, which some of that is, did you hire a better staff this offseason? We'll see. And if you are better against the division, like you brought up, Neil, you get off to a decent start. So it's not like your wins, when you start winning some games late in the year, it doesn't matter. I think Woody does not want to fire him. I think he likes him and wants to keep him.
Right.
I do think it's clear that he needs to show real progress. It can't look anywhere close to what he did last year. He won't be here, nor should he be.
Right. And I think as far as the additions are concerned, look, I'm a Frank Reich guy. I like Frank Reich. I really do. And I think he's going to put a lot of creativity into the offense. As far as Sadiq goes, I watched a little of the film of him. He does a lot of stuff out of the backfield. He does a lot of I like to see him line up as a fullback in a 12 personnel in front of Brees. I mean, could you picture a play where Sadiq is in front of Brees, lining up as a fullback. They pitch the ball to Brees. He runs to the outside. Sadiq runs behind him, and he pitches it to Sadiq before he gets tackled. He picks up another 8, 9 yards. We have to see creativity on the offense, and we have so many weapons now on offense. And I agree with you, BJF. We're not going to have anybody that's going to stand out after Garrett as far as yardage is concerned. We're just going to have I want to see distribution to everybody. Cooper is going to be a value because he breaks tackles. You got situations where A.D. Mitchell, the only thing A.D. Mitchell I could see him doing is going way down the field on a bomb, when we need something big downfield where he could get separation. And I think Mason Taylor's going to be that third down guy that goes out 6, 7 yards because he's very dependable and he always catches the ball. And then we got Garrett with, quarterback, tight end screens, wide receiver screens, pitch outs. I want to see tons of jet sweeps going in either direction. That's the kind of thing I think if we do, and Geno's just a game manager, I think our offense is going to be unbelievably good in comparison to what we've seen.
Yeah, that's not saying much though. But Neil, while I have you here, you were a huge hit in Atlantic City. The amount of people who came up to me and said they loved meeting you, including I see Mimosa in the chat. Wrote, "Hi Neil, fun hanging with you at AC." I have to go inside the Neil mind, so I'm going to play you a Jet chant that Fireman Ed led at one point in the event. And BJF, you got to see Neil during this Jet chant and what he's screaming. I need to get the information on why Neil was yelling at this particular person. So here we go. Here's the Jet chant. We're all gathered around. So we have the chant. Neil's right there, front and center, with his cigar, his green, a polo Jet shirt there. Now watch Neil. Frankie V! He's yelling Frankie V. He's yelling at Frankie V. We're not done, Frankie. We're not done, Frankie V. And then there I am next to the Chuck wagon. So I'm curious, Neil, what were you yelling at Frankie V for?
Well, Frankie V and I and Ryan had a conversation. We were, chopping it up pretty good right before the chant. And, Frankie V, how he could be a little bit negative, And the best thing was I was busting their chops. They do a show with Kaz, right? So I want to get the inside, and I say, listen, guys, how the hell do you do a show with Kaz, who's the most boring, jackass media guy? And I wanted to get them to say that they didn't like Kaz. I was trying to get them into the, behind the scenes thing. Because let's face it, guys, media guys, and I know, Jake, you're really not a media guy to me. You're a Jet podcaster #1, okay?
Correct.
So you're not in that, you're not in that realm, so to speak. And with these guys, they're just as happy when the Jets are miserable and a shitty team because they have more to write about than they are when we win games. And they're so used to getting ready with their pens and their typewriter, whatever the hell they write with, to put some stupid negative story out why we suck. And that's how they get clicks. And it bothers me, especially Kaz. These guys are never positive.
Neil, can I push back and say the Jets have sucked, thoh, for the vast majority
of
time?
They've been right. I mean, obviously, it's right. When if all you do, if we start the season to say, we should win 4 or 5 games, and it's not rocket science, but we always wish at some point, if those guys were beat writers for the Knicks, Jake, they would have been saying the same shit about the Knicks until they started
Knicks
winning.
Made smart moves and started winning, and then the people that covered the Knicks gave them credit. Like it's not crazy. Like I know. You met Rich Cimini on Saturday. He's a wonderful guy. He's seen 30 years of the Jets mostly being bad. So it's gonna skew your view. You're not gonna think the best case scenario is gonna happen until it actually does.
So let me tell you a quick thing. I go into the event. and I'm walking in with Ed and his wife. So, he remembers me. We did jet chants on the plane. I have a history with Ed. I reminded him of the old Tampa game when we came back with that play in the end zone when Groh was coaching and we won the game, and we were getting the shit kicked out of us all game long. And then we came back and won that game, and we all went down the ramp yelling jet chants back at the hotel. It was amazing, and he remembered all that. So I go up and I buy him and his wife a drink, and we start talking and this and that. And he basically hunted me down, Jake. I bought one of those big drinks. It was like $36. That big BJF. The drink was $40, right?
Crazy.
So he hunts me down. He goes, Neil, come to the bar. We're going to do a shot and a drink together. He kept hassling me. And then we finally went, which I thought was really nice. I mean, Ed is a fantastic guy, man. He really is a good man. And he really epitomizes, what the OGs are, because he's my age, or I don't know, I think he's around 65 or 67. And he's in fantastic shape, man. I mean, he could...
Frankie Man! We're not done, Frankie Man!
when he does that chant, that gets me so pumped up. It's like, right, you know what I mean, Jake? You can't, and then when he does it a second and a third time, and he does that, I mean, it's just like so energetic and such a tribute, and really, really identifies what we are as Jet fans. And he really was a great event. Show BGF the picture of me and LJ when I gave him a cigar. The size difference, BJF. This guy, Larry Johnson, his head, he was smoking a cigar. It looked like a cigarette in his hand. His head is like gigantic. It was like 4 times the size of mine. I took a picture with him, a face picture, and his head looked like 3 of mine.
You
Amazing.
have a very large head, though.
Me?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, his head is big. His head is...
Let me find us. You make too many requests during the show.
I'm sorry, Jake. I'm sorry. But anyhow, great time. Get psyched up for Nashville. This is going to tell the tale for us. It's going to set the tone for our season, And I'm excited about the fact that we finally have, and I've been yelling for this for 3 seasons, we finally have leadership on both ends of the ball. I mean, look, I guess Geno Smith is our offensive leader. One thing about what I've heard about him is he is a good guy in the huddle. He's got good leadership qualities. He's very competitive. He wants to win. I mean, look at the size of this guy, man. I'm not a small guy.
You just standing there.
No, I was pointing at the other side.
Fire Red Ed. This was insane.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But I was standing there because it was raining. I didn't want to leave because I gave him a cigar. We sat down. We smoked a little bit. And I got up, and it was raining pretty hard. So I was see how there's a little overhang there? So while the rain was coming down, I was standing under that overhang so I didn't get wet. My wife Michelle was trying to get her to come. And then I really didn't want her to come because when I saw she goes, what's this beach party going to be like? I said, Michelle, there's a bunch of Jet guys there. There's going to be no women. There's not going to be oh, no. And I see that picture that Lou B sent with all the cheerleaders. I said, oh, shit. I said, I don't want Michelle to come to this. I call my brother up, who's like a horniest 70-year-old on 2 feet. He comes down to the event. He's like walking around. He's talking to all the girls and everything. And so I go back, and he sent videos of, he FaceTimed some stuff, and Michelle saw it. So I come back to the hotel. She goes, how was your event there with all your, the Asmaniacs? Was it all guys? I go, yeah, it was not that big a deal. All of a sudden, she starts flipping on all these Facebook things of all the women on top of guys and all this shit. I had no voice from chanting. Oh, you have no voice either. I guess you were yelling pretty good out there. I said, it was unbelievable. It was a great time. And I'm looking forward to Nashville. And again, I think we're gonna start it off right. Ponds will be our corner. Here's what I really would like, and I'll end it here.
Neil, I only put you on with BJF because you were begging for it, and then you proceeded to do a 15-minute call here. I could have done it one-on-one, but I was going to let Buffalo Jet fan go, man. BJF, you're the best. Thanks so much for coming on, dude. We'll get you on again, I'm sure, throughout the summer as we get closer to the season.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Go Jets.
Come on, Neil. Oh, my God. It just keeps going and going and going. By the way, I think the only person that was drunker than Neil at the event over the weekend was Tanky V.
Throw it. Throw the ball. Throw the ball down the field. Go and throw it. Throw fucking 15, 16, 17 interceptions. Throw it down. You know?
And you think he's going to throw way more than
I
Justin
think
Fields
he
ever
might-
did.
He might throw like 50 interceptions this year. No.
50.
No.
No, he's actually going to throw the ball. We're actually going to get touchdowns this season, and we're going to make it to playoffs.
No, I don't think so. You know what? Hold on. Ready? Can you re-record something?
We're recording this whole
Okay.
time.
All right, we're gonna record. All right, I got something.
Frankie V, everybody. Thank you again to the Buffalo Jet fan for joining us. All right, just to reset here, raffle at the end of the show. All memberships are double. Only doing one show today. Most likely not going live tomorrow. I have to be at Fanatics Fest for work, and I'm doing radio from 10 to 1 p.m. tomorrow. I'm filling in for Bart tomorrow. So originally I wasn't on, and now I'm needed. So I have to adjust the programming schedule accordingly. Saturday, I'm on the radio from 9 a.m. to 1 p. So radio today from 1 to 3, tomorrow 10 a to 1 p, Saturday 9 to noon. And we'll be at Fanatics Fest for any Jet fans who are making the trip Saturday and Sunday. Jets Collective is today at 3:30. 3:30 Eastern, Jets Collective. Probably won't start exactly at 3:30 because the subway will be slow and I'll be slightly late. But this afternoon around 3:30-ish, we're going live for the Jets Collective podcast. We're giving you 3 shows today, but we start every show this week in the 9 a.m. hour because I've been on the radio from 1 to 3. Couple super chats I want to hit. These are all doubled for the raffle at the end of the show for a Jets Legends jersey. Jet Express says, I believe the Jets have a better chance at 4-0 than 0-4. Week 1 holds the weight of 1/4 of the season. In no world do the Jets have a better chance of being 4-0 than 0-4. They started 0-7 last year. The Jets were 0-2 in 2022. The Jets in 2023 were 1-0. 24, they were 0-1. I'm just thinking to their recent starts. Although 2022, maybe they were 1-1, right? Did they beat the Browns? Was that week 2? I guess it was. And then they lost to the Bengals. But I like the optimism, Jet X, but there's no way. Jet Express. You're in the raffle for 4, though. Addison says today is Guinea Pig Appreciation Day. Is this true? If it is true, that means we have to bring on a man who owns a pet guinea pig.
¿Qué pasó, brother? How are you?
Put your light on. Why do we have to remind you every time to do it?
Really? Hans. I feel like saying that. Well, you know what? Some people might think I might go north south, but you know what? I'm going north. But you know what? Hey, some people can say this. You know what? I'm like a big pinwheel. So some people can go down here and go south of the border. But at least I got a ticket. But I'm not punching my picket. But don't worry about what I do. Be yourself. And don't worry about me being my own pimp stock. I'm a pimp. I got to deal with this jerk off. Another lifeless loser, brain dead to the maximus of the core. God, if I had $100 buckets of water, I'd drown them all in it.
You're a pimp, huh? You're a pimp?
Hey,
extraordinary.
Money, Mike, did it ever occur to you that lately my temper's been through the roof. My doctors have always said I got a strict temper. Yeah, because of let's see, high blood pressure, high temper, anger.
You have a strict temper because you have a high temper.
Yeah, I do. You ever watch did you ever see Some Kind of Monster from Metallica? The one where
I'm actually Metallica's all right. I'm not the biggest Metallica fan. I know that's like blasphemy, but I'm not really. I don't really like Metallica. I also don't like Aerosmith.
James Hetfield snapped on Lawrence and just said, "Look, man, you've been picking at me all goddamn night. You know what the hell you want from me? You're talking shit really
I'm
matters."
also not the biggest Wu-Tang Clan fan, right? Like I don't really ever like one Wu-Tang song. Like I never really liked the East Coast hip hop. I was more of a West Coast hip hop guy. Like I don't like anything by Wu-Tang. I'm not a big Wu-Tang. I know, like that's blasphemy, right? Someone our age doesn't like Wu-Tang Clan. I really don't.
I ain't taking nothing away from Tupac Shakur. Definitely not away from Nas or my other homeboy.
Nas is the GOAT.
Nas
is the Kobe. Tupac's a little bit overrated. Tupac's like LeBron. He's great.
Yeah,
overrated.
Like, overrated.
LeBron, Tupac's
talking
not on
about?
the top 10 list.
Take that shit back.
Tupac's overrated. He's good. I like Tupac. But there's better rappers than Tupac.
Oh shit! You son of a bitch! I just got a little gas.
Beast, what are your thoughts on the way England collapsed against Argentina yesterday as an English guy?
I don't want to talk about it. Couldn't watch that. I couldn't watch that. Couldn't watch the bear to stomach it.
What happened? Why'd they take their foot off the gas?
Oh, here we go. Talking points like the New York Times. Typical fashion, ain't it? Typical fashion.
How about it's sports talk? You called it to a sports talk show. I asked you about this country that you weren't born in, that you shouldn't be, quote unquote, supporting in the first place. I asked you for some feedback on what went down when they had a historic choke yesterday, and you can't even comment on it?
Boy, I feel like Bischoff today. Ready to
what happened to you? What happened to England yesterday?
Yelling ain't gonna solve it. Paying the bill solves it.
You have no money to pay the bills.
Oh yeah. Real. Man, that's real funny, ain't it? Real funny.
You call in and talk about the English soccer team all throughout the summer during this World Cup. Now we ask you about England choking against Argentina, and you're getting upset and can't comment on it?
Oh, let's see. What has 2026 turned into? A freaking fight! How many?
You realize when the Jets suck, we talk about it. So when England stinks, don't you have to talk about it?
I've had 50 fights this year. 50.
You didn't fight anyone yesterday. You watched the soccer game.
I said I had 50 fights. 50 fights. And most of them have been severe. Some of them have been insane. You think I'm ready for a heart attack?
B, sometimes I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, so let's talk soccer. What happened yesterday? My untrained eye, it felt like England took their foot off the gas. Maybe they were too passive. What did you see out there, Beast? On National Guinea Pig Day to act like this. Looks like I'm going to have to go eat some guinea pig later. Gary, what do you think Beast is doing right now?
I don't know. He clearly wants some type of attention. He's trying to do some kind of calisthenic or pre-stretch or something like this. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
Why can't he discuss England losing to Argentina in a soccer match?
Well, clearly he's got like emotional and anger issues. I'm not trying to, but I mean that's clear as day. He can't really discuss anything. So there's that. You ask him a question about anything, he really can't answer it. Like, this is evidently true. That's really all I got. Can you get rid of him so I can do my call?
He's
It's your
not
show.
saying
I'm
much.
just asking you. You know,
He's not saying much. We could just
like
leave
a
him there.
personal favor to me, Jake. Like, could you get rid of him so I could do my call?
Well, since you asked for a favor.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate you. First off, that's an excellent job out of you this week on the radio. I didn't get to listen yesterday, but I listened to Monday and Tuesday. I'll listen again today.
Call today. It's going to be a slow day. There's not much happening in sports
All
right
right.
now.
All right, I'll try.
I wanted Beast to give me some feedback on the World Cup so I could use some of his talking points on the air, but can't get anything out of the one English fan that regularly calls my show.
I did watch the England-Argentina game. And I don't think they lost because they took their foot off the gas. You think England lost the World Cup because, we'll just relax now? I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about soccer, but I don't think you lose the World Cup because you took your foot off the gas.
People were saying that they were not as aggressive after they had the lead, that they were basically doing the prevent defense equivalent for the NFL.
Okay, maybe. It just seems like if you're going to lose the biggest game of your life, like you're not going to lose because you took your. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It could be the case. It just seems like that's not Mamba mentality, is it? Take your foot off the gas. You play for 90 minutes plus the extra minutes. It was okay. Did you watch a lot of the soccer, Jake?
I did. I had it on in the background there. I wasn't locked in. Like I saw both the Argentina goals late. I didn't watch the whole game though.
But I like the intensity of it. I do.
Couple finals at MetLife on Sunday, baby. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
The air going to be clear by then because you got soccer players and people from all over the world breathing in Canadian wildfire air.
Is it hard to breathe up there? I don't live up there.
According to Lou B, it was.
Okay. First off, excellent job out of you on the radio. Excellent job out of Buffalo. I watched Buffalo yesterday. I watched his show yesterday. He went live yesterday. I haven't heard from him in a while.
He took some time off this summer.
I was just wondering about what him, and then he had him on. So I was like, all right, it's good to have Buffalo back. And then a couple of other things. That's a terrible job out of Frankie. He's clearly trying to flirt with that girl. Who is that girl, by the way? Is that somebody? Is that just
that's Court? She does Jets content. She's super nice. She comes to events. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because here's more from the interview that was not posted. I was able to acquire more from the conversation between Frankie and Court Sport discussing the New York Jets.
What do the Jets need to do this season to make playoffs?
If we're being honest, this is what's going to have to happen. The offensive line has to be a top 10 offensive line that is bulletproof. We have to be able to run the football because we are never able to run the football. Breece Hall needs to understand how to really run the football. And then Geno Smith has to make good decisions. We've seen Geno Smith this recently.
It would actually be better if he just pulled a Joe Namath and said, I don't care about the Jets. I just want to kiss you. At least he wouldn't be being honest, you know?
If Geno Smith can stop being an idiot, he's 35 years old. Grow up, pal. We can maybe get somewhere.
That is a great. He's a smart kid. He's a good-looking kid, I suppose. He could do better than that. Like, he should have more confidence in that. And then again, look, he's clearly drunk. I've always say, live as if your life is a movie and everyone can see at all times. Like, live like you're on the Truman Show. Is that how you want people to see you?
I don't think he was flirting with her though. I think he was just hammered.
Oh, he was. I mean, he was nervous around her. He was trying to flirt. He's just terrible at flirting. It would have been better, honestly, if he would have pulled a Joe Davis. I don't care about the Jets. I just want to kiss you. Because at least he would have built some male to female.
Throw it. Throw the ball.
Hitting,
throw the
guy,
ball down the field.
Go
and throw it. Throw fucking 15, 16, 17 interceptions.
Look at it. He's looking at her like
down.
she's dessert, bro.
You know?
And you think he's gonna?
So you think the look is what implies he's flirting?
Yeah. Well, he's trying to flirt. Like he's
throw
trying
way more than just
flirting.
he
Is
never
like
did.
He might throw like 50 interceptions.
I like how he just does like a laugh after he like starts making a point and then he can't finish the point, so he just chuckles.
No, he's actually going to throw the ball. We're actually going to get touchdowns this season, and we're going to make it to playoffs.
No, I don't think so. You know what? Hold on. Ready?
I think that's a low-key great part of the conversation here. She's like, so the Jets going to make the playoffs? And he's like, I don't think so. Listen again.
No, I don't think so.
We're actually going to get touchdowns this season, and we're going to make it to playoffs.
No, I don't think so. You know what? Hold on. Ready? Can you re-record something?
We're recording this whole time.
All right, we're gonna record. All right, I got something.
You don't think he's trying to flirt with her, honestly?
Should we run a poll? Who was drunker? Namath in 03 with Susie Colbert or Frankie V with Court Sports?
I'm not saying who's drunker. That's a good poll. You should run that. But at least Namath knew how to flirt. I mean, it was a little aggressive, but at least he was going to keep it male to female, man to woman. I'm a man. You're a woman. I'm interested in you. Frankie's all over the place here. Frankie looks like a seventh grader who wants to ask a girl to dance but doesn't know how to do it. Like, I'm not trying to insult the guy. I'm just saying that is a terrible, terrible job of flirting. I also heard, and maybe you can confirm this.
I'm not convinced he's flirting though, but continue.
I heard that Frankie was flirting with J-Rod, with Genergy.
Genergy did write a comment the other day that Frankie was flirting.
Affirmation of life, my friend. If I was a single man, I'd flirt with it too. All right, like understandable, Frankie V. Understandable.
Well, it's a great event to flirt at. Think about it. You're at a pool event with a bunch of Jet fans.
How did it go? Did he do well? I guess he didn't do.
I don't.
If J-Rod came on.
Yeah, Genergy, if you're watching live and you want to call in to break it down, please feel free. We'll put you right on.
Yeah, can we get a play-by-play? I want to. It had to be better than that. It had to be better than that.
I don't think he's flirting there, though.
Was that girl a looker? Was she at least mildly, fairly attractive? I can't see her from the angle. Was she at least fairly reasonably attractive?
I'm not going to dignify your comment.
All right, fair enough. No, it's probably best not to answer that question. Fair enough.
I'm going to poll though.
Beast is a pimp. That Frankie flirting. He's clearly flirting. I like Frankie too. I'm not. He should flirt with her. Why? He's a single guy. Why wouldn't he flirt with her? He should. He just has to do a better job than that. There's so much there too. You're at the beach. She's got sunglasses and a hat on. That's got to go down. Or instead of like, she doesn't actually care about your take on the Jets. Like, go talk to her. Like, treat her like a person that you're interested in, not like some girl who's interviewing you. If you're interested in her, go be flirty with her. Go be male to female with her. But you got to build some level of attraction. Like, if you think the Jets are going to make the playoffs, she can ask anybody that. She gets hit on probably every day. What's going to make you different? Why are you going to stand out? He did nothing to stand out. He made himself look like a nervous seventh grader who was afraid to talk to the pretty girl. But that's besides the point. I did want to get to this poll. Where Glenn had a plurality of people are being confident in him. This is utterly ridiculous, Jake. What has Glenn done to produce any confidence in anyone?
He played for the Jets 30 years ago.
I know. He was if you're my age, right? You're in your early 40s. He was your favorite Jet, at least on the defensive end of the ball, right? He was. I love Darren Glenn. He's not good he was great at playing corner. He's terrible at head coach. Plato said in order to have justified true belief, you have to have three things. It has to be true. You have to believe it to be true. And you have to have a good reason for it to be true. Whether or not Aaron Glenn is a good head coach or we should have confidence in him is up in the air. But It's the third thing. You have to have a good reason to believe that it's true. Nobody has a good reason to believe that it's true that Aaron Glenn is a good head coach. So in this case, it's just like guessing C on a test. Maybe you'll get it right, maybe you won't, but you have no good reason. You have no justification as to why it ought to be right. That's what we have here. We have a bunch of Jet fans who just want it to be true. They have no good reason to think that it's true. So it's like, obviously the poll is not a scientific poll. And I like the optimism, but like, this is why it's just not realistic. Like, if you think Aaron Glenn is going to be a good head coach, or you have confidence in Aaron Glenn to play call, what is the justification for that? What is the reason you believe that is true? I'm a Jet fan. I like Aaron Glenn. It's not a good reason.
You'd argue he learned a lot from year one, hired a better staff. He's taking over his area of expertise, so the defense should be better, right? Again, I'm not confident in him. I thought he should have been fired after his first year. It was that bad. I thought it was that disgraceful. So people are going to try and be hopeful because it's July and last year is a long time ago already, right? Like January is months ago. We've moved on. So that's it. He gets this year to prove whether or not he should be here for a third year. If it's anywhere close to what it was in year one, he's gone.
I was in Cleveland like a week and a half ago, and they love the Browns there. I'm telling you, they're so hardcore. I love it. But they're a little more defeated than Jet fans. Like, they're a little like the Browns are going to be good this year. They're like, no, we might start Deshaun Watson again. We're going to be terrible. It's Deshaun Watson. It's going to be horrible. They're a little more downtrodden. And I think we're better than the Browns. But the last 30 years of our history, the last 30 years of their history, remarkably similar, to say the least. But I actually got a Browns fan to concede that he's about my age, that in our lifetime, the Jets have been worse than the Browns. You think that's fair?
Yes, I do think it's fair.
It's fair, right? Like, those are the two. And I give a lot of credit. Like, everyone in
it's
Cleveland
close though. The Browns have been better recently. I mean, for all their issues, they made the playoffs twice over the last 6 years. They won a playoff game with Baker. You know, they made it with Flacco a couple years after that.
They drafted Baker, which was the wrong pick. They should have taken Darnold, but we took Darnold. Baker went on and won a playoff game. Darnold went on and won a Super Bowl for another team.
What are your thoughts on this comment from Ralphie? Gary, I don't want to insult Frankie, and proceeds to insult him. That was terrible flirting.
It's not like, guys, it's constructive criticism. I'm helping him. She's got sunglasses on and she's carrying a hat when it's cloudy outside. That's got to go down. You got to give her something. You got to give her a gentle tease, and then she'll give you what's called a shit test back, right? And now you're playing the cat and mouse game.
He was drunk though, so I think if you saw Frankie in person, you might have a different opinion whether or not he was flirting. He was like that with everyone.
Well,
he showed up at a steakhouse and was wearing the same exact outfit that he wore to the pool all day. He was so hammered, and then ran up to the table I was sitting at with my family and proceeded to start yelling about David Bailey to me.
That sounds like Frankie. Another thing, you mentioned your family. When I called in your show on Monday, and I said the Mets had one good year out of 6, and your brother said, "What about 2022?" And I wanted to address that. That's not a good season for the Mets. You collapsed the last month of the season, lost the division to the Braves, and then won one playoff game. We have to have Met fans with the payroll that we have to have a higher standard than that. That can't be considered a good season for us. That's not a good season. Winning one, if the Yankees collapsed, lost the division, and then won one playoff game, would you say that's a good season or that's a failure of a season?
I would say 2022 was not a good season because of the way it ended. So I disagree with my brother.
All right, perfect. Our bar as Met fans are so low because of all the losing, but we shouldn't have a low bar, right? We shouldn't be the Brooklyn Nets. Like, whatever we do is fine.
No, this year in particular is an unmitigated disaster to be 17 games under 500 the All-Star break with the second highest payroll in the sport. When you were the betting favorite to win the National League East before the year started, your win total was 90.5 on most sports books. Like, come on.
I did it. I said, they must have like the worst record in baseball. If you take like the second half of last year and the first half of this year, the second half of last year. So their last 162 games. What do you think their record is? The Mets from the second half of last year to the first half of this year.
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's horrific because they were the worst team in baseball after June 13th last year.
65 and 97. Only the Rockies have a worse record over that time span. 65
over the last
97.
162.
Yeah.
Makes
they
sense.
have a $300 million payroll, Jay. Everyone's got to go. I don't care. Like everybody's got to go. Everybody. I mean, the guy that brings the coffee, he's got to go. The guy that cleans the carpets, everyone's got to go. It can't be anyone in this building in the room next year. Everyone's got to go.
Mimosa says he was drunk and being Frankie. Cut the kid some slack. Gary has to turn nothing into something.
Well, okay. See, this is the problem. Mimosa does, as a female, Mimosa doesn't even recognize when a girl's being hit on. That's how bad is hitting on her. She doesn't even. The girl should know that you're pursuing.
But your evidence he's hitting on her is just he just looks at her a certain way. Like it's not like it's not like he's like, hey babe, after this interview, let me take you to dinner.
That would have been better if he did. I'm telling you, Joe Namath would have been better than that. At least the girl would have known she was being hit on.
Yeah, but Joe Namath doesn't need to flirt. He's Joe Namath. Frankie V would have to flirt.
You still have to flirt because the girl's not going to pursue you.
Throw it. Throw the ball.
Right, so
throw the ball down the field.
Where's the flirting?
Throw it. Throw fucking 15
right there. Right there. Look at him.
This look is flirting. This?
Yeah. Look at her. He's staring her dead in the eyes. He wouldn't talk to me or you like that. Right there. Pause that.
Honestly, I think he did talk to me like this.
Oh, that's his own personal. That's his own thing. He's clearly flirting with her. Clearly. He's about to put his hand on the small of her back.
I don't think that's true. Is he flirting with Matt O'Leary in the background of my photo with Wayne Corbett? He's looking at Matt O'Leary a certain way here.
Is that Corbett that he's talking to there?
No, I'm with Corbett in the photo.
Oh,
Frankie
you're
V
with
is
Corbett.
talking
Oh, wow.
to O'Leary.
Yeah, you are with Corbett. My bad. Yeah. Oh, is that O'Leary? Okay.
You just thought I was Frankie?
I don't think. No, I was looking at Frankie in the back. I wasn't even looking at you and Wayne. I was looking in the background at Frankie. And like, I don't think that's Wayne Corbett, but you're directly in front of me with Wayne Corbett. I was looking past you at Frankie to see.
How about here? He's in a photo with Amanda and Omari. Is he flirting here with this look?
No, there he does look really drunk there. In the other picture, did you run the poll?
The poll is being run right now.
All right.
Was Frankie flirting in that interview? 60-40 or agree with you so far. Say yes.
And there's nothing wrong. I think flirting is a good thing. If I was a single guy, I would flirt with girls all the time too. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think it was really, really poor. And that's why like drunk flirting is a different art. That's why I never really thought I always thought like a bar or a nightclub was the hardest place to pick up chicks. Like I'd much rather do it at Bryant Park, which is the best place on earth to pick up chicks. A supermarket, a store, something like this, where they're not defensive, where you're not drunk, where they're not on the defense, right? Where they're kind of like you can go to Bryant Park and there's always like some chick reading a book. She's got to go down. That's got to be at least a number out of that, right? A bar or nightclub where you're drunk and it's a little more combative and defensive because she's been hit on all night is a tough place to pick up chicks. This at the beach here, this is a good setting.
I'm playing it right now with no sound. I'm just looking at his body language.
Look at his body. This is the best way to do it.
To me, it's just him being Frankie.
For the ball, we're actually going to get touchdowns this season, and we're going to make it to playoffs.
No,
he's
I don't
jittery
think so.
and nervous.
You know what?
He's been drinking for 6 hours at this point. This is after 6 o'clock.
All right, you don't. Okay,
ready? Can you re-record something?
We're recording this whole time.
All right, we're gonna record. All right, I got something.
He'll acknowledge he's an honest guy, right? He'll acknowledge whether or not he was flirting with her, won't he?
I think he would.
Yeah, I think he's clearly trying to flirt with her. I just think his flirting is egregiously bad, like atrociously bad. And most guys have no idea how to flirt, right? Because I think it should be taught in school. Like how to talk to women should be taught in school.
Even if he was flirting, it's hard to try and pull off flirting while you're being asked to do an interview for a content creator.
Maybe he's not going to seal the deal on air, but he could be flirty like Gronkowski did when that one girl was doing an interview with him and she was asking what he was doing on Valentine's Day. He's like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, be flirty with her. Be flirty with her. Like, at no point is he even letting it be known, really, that he's interested in her. A woman wants to be wanted. She wants to know that you're interested in her. She wants to know your intentions. I've always said this: no woman can put you in the friend zone because you put yourself there first, right? Like, be flirty. Like, I got put in the friend zone once, never again. Like, she's gonna know my intentions off the bat. I'm a man, you're a woman, I'm interested in you, I'm pursuing you. I can't go in the friend zone. You're either gonna reject me or you're gonna interact with me. But I can't go in the friend zone. That's impossible because I didn't put myself there first. Like, no man should go in the friend zone more than once. Lesson learned. Don't do that again. Talk to her the way that she wants to be spoken to, and the way talk to her to get the result that you want. She's either going to reject you. That's a part of life. Everybody gets rejected. Or she's going to accept it and she's going to flirt back. But she's going to do one of the two. You're not going to be put in the friend zone. Like, that is an automatic friend zone. Oh, Frankie's cute. He's funny. That's where he's going. He's going in the friend zone forever because of that first interaction. Because that's how he pursued her.
Gary,
he's talking to her like a friend. What's
the
up?
poll is live. Go vote in it, and we'll tell you the final results at the end here.
All right. Thank you, Jake.
Women need to vacuum and shouldn't be allowed to vote.
All right, last chance to enter the raffle. I'm giving away a Jets jersey. Plus, we have a new set of weekly raffle prizes. Raffle will be during a show on Sunday. Jets Legends jersey, Breece Hall signed helmet, Chad Pennington signed jersey, Darrelle Revis signed end zone pylon. Make sure you enter. Everything is doubled today because I'm not doing a show later. I have Jets Collective at 3:30. And tomorrow I got to work and then be at Fanatics Fest for work. So probably not doing a live show tomorrow at all or Saturday. So this is one of your last chances to get in on the weekly As Maniac raffle. End of this show, we have a Legends jersey. As I mentioned, I want to give some love to Panama Jet. This used to be Ted Rogerio. He changed his name. So if you see Panama in the chat, it's Ted Rogerio. He get the 10. Everything's double. 20 entries on the wheel for Panama Jet. Panama, thank you. Kelly Maria in the raffle for one. She says we need more Jets girlies. Kelly, I agree. We actually had more 4%ers there than I was expecting, which was cool. Rob in the raffle says Glenn wasn't great his rookie season as a player either, but guess what? He proved to be good because of time. Yeah, but it's different when you're that bad as a rookie as a head coach, statistically. Like, again, Glenn, if he ended up being a good head coach, would be a historic outlier. I don't feel like giving you all the stats. You've heard me talk about this a lot, but the odds are against him. Lou B in the house. Chuck Wagon's been MIA since he hit for 30K. I need a Chuck Wagon call soon. We haven't had one this week from him. Chuck Wagon, if you're out there, call in. Ozzy in the raffle for one. Thank you, Ozzy.
Jet up. Let's go.
Hell yeah, Ozzy. Your gifted membership went to Nate_Jets. That's Nate parentheses Nate. Let's see here. Counting all the names. Everything is double. So Ozzy, you're in for 2. Oh, how about this? Mimosa, whose arch rival is Gary 3D Boxing. Mimosa, who was at Gangrene Beach Club and did not think Frankie was flirting, I see in that video there. She just gifted 10. Mimosa, you're in for 20. Everything's double. Hit it.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
If you hear your name called, Mimosa made you a channel member. Cyclone 499, DMAC, Mrs. Monk, D King, Fire and Maneuver, Roderick Cook, Real 7, Luca Lombardo, NY Jets Florida Ted, and Adam is too cool. Adam, how is being a dad of 2? I believe it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we can ask him. He's next.
Adam is cool, although kind of basic. He claims he's too cool, though often quite basic. He makes great jet points, looks a little basic. Adam is cool, too cool, but basic. Some would say generic.
Hey Jake, how's it going, man?
Am I right? Dad of 2?
Dad of 3.
Oh, 3. Wow.
Yeah,
you got to send me your address, by the way, so I can send you a onesie.
Dad brain, no sleep. That's how it goes. But
You're good.
Going from 2 to 3 is a lot easier than going from 1 to 2 or 0 to 1. So very cool. And thanks, Mimosa, for the membership. That's awesome. Appreciate you on that one. Yeah, I don't think Frankie was flirting. I think Frankie was trying to keep it professional. I think he didn't want to be on the record saying the Jets weren't going to the playoffs. So maybe his crush is the Jets.
I think you might be onto something.
Yeah. No, I think he was trying to keep it all professional. I thought he was good. And you know what? He's got his own kind of riz. So, let Frankie be Frankie. I thought it was very fun. I mean, you want to have fun at these events. You don't want to be, just like standing there staring at the pool. Like everyone's had a great time. I wish I could have been there. I'm dressed up for it, even though I didn't get to go, but hoping to do another meetup at some point, within the next 12 months, and certainly Ian, whatever you're going to do for the draft, because I'll definitely love to be part of whatever's happening there. But overall, send my love to the community. I think that there should be more comparisons to the Argentina national team to the Knicks, because what they're doing is very Knicks-like, but Knicks did it first.
You're not wrong. I mean, Argentina has been inspired by the Knicks. There's no doubt.
Yes, has to be. I think the Knicks, the way that the Knicks came back from incredible odds to win. Argentina was on the ropes in the 80th minute in multiple games, and they just pull it off. They're like, we're not going to lose. We're just going to turn it on in the 80th minute.
Ralphie says you're too fertile, by the way. Your thoughts?
Blame my parents. What can I say? And not Alan. Alan is not. So anyway, in terms of the Jets stuff, I think that in all fairness to Aaron, I think that he's an ambitious guy. I think you could tell that. I think he took on a lot of responsibility, being new at all, nearly all of it, at that level. And so I think taking a step back and running a smaller set of things is going to be good for him, and it's going to be good for the team. And, I'm been the same all season in terms of if we're great, awesome. If we're not great, also awesome, because we're going to get a lot of really good picks in the process. And it's going to be a fun season to watch. A lot of teams. Hopefully our team is watchable. If not, we can totally make fun of whoever draft picks we still have, whether it's the Colts pick, Green Bay pick, Dallas pick. We can hate on them all year because we want to. So we're going to win either way. And let's see Garrett make a comeback, because I think that's a big storyline. Let's see Brees unlock his full potential. Let's see what Sadiq can do. Let's see what the Hoosier rookies can do in their first year. And I think there's a lot of really interesting stories. Let's see if Geno can get it together. I feel bad for him. I think he needs to take a break from Florida for a while. I think they're all out to get him, to be honest. Maybe folks in New Jersey would give him a little bit of a break. But, I think Geno will – I think when training camp starts, he'll lock in. I think this is just the extracurricular stuff that happens that you don't really see out of most players in the offseason. They all have lives. They all have complicated lives, too. It's not like everyone just has a simple life like you see with, the Kelseys and all that stuff. People have complicated lives, complicated relationships. I think Geno, let's root for Geno. Let's hope that, when training camp comes, he's going to be as dialed in as we'd like to see him from a couple of years ago. And maybe he gets comeback player of the year again. He won it once. He could do it again. And how fun would it be if he did it for the Jets?
Well, it would be remarkable if he did. That said, I do think he is obviously the biggest question as far as swaying the outcome, win or loss. Good Geno Smith season, the ceiling for the Jets is infinitely raised, as is their floor. He's the kid. All of it. They won 3 games last year. They had the worst quarterback play in the league. If Geno Smith is an average quarterback, what does that do for the rest of the team?
I think I'd love to see a Fitzpatrick one awesome year. That'd be pretty cool. I'll take that. I think we could all take that. Let's see 4K finally. Can we finally get back to 4K passing yards? Can we finally get 1,000-yard receiver and 1,000-yard rusher, and maybe a little bit of fun out of the tight end spot? I think there's a lot of questions about Mason Taylor based on the Sadiq pick. And yeah, you can have like more than one tight end, but I do wonder if like they're having second thoughts about Mason Taylor when it's all said and done, because he had a lot of receiving yards too, when we drafted him, and I hope that he'll take that step up. I know he's a younger player, but the competition will be good for those two, and hopefully they'll just be like bookend tight ends for us for a long, long time. So I have a lot of fun things to look forward to, and I can't wait to see them put the pads on and actually ball out. I think you're going to see some really cool highlights in training camp, and then hopefully that translates into the preseason games. And then let's please demolish Tennessee week 1. That would be better than like the rest of the 16 games. Just beat Salah, beat Tennessee, beat a team that you can beat, and beat them badly in their own house with 50% Jets fans watching. That'd be pretty sick.
You're asking for a lot now. All right.
I can wish. I got a lot of. I just had a daughter. I can ask the Godfather for all sorts of stuff.
You have a daughter, and then the other two genders of your kids are.
I got a girl, a boy, and a girl. So I got a nice mix.
Girl, boy, girl. Very nice.
Yeah. So anyway, good catching up with you. Sorry I haven't been able to call in lately. I'll try and call in when I can. But yeah, everything's good over here. Doesn't even look like I became parent of a third kid. But just keep me young. Let me put it that way. There's always something out there, and I'm watching the show, even if I'm not dialing in.
You're the man, Adam. I'm glad you called in. Call in when you can, and shoot me that address when you get a chance.
Will do. Absolutely. Thanks, Jake. Take care, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam is too cool.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
At least 3 times. Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from the big fella. Chuck Wagon has been reportedly seen with Mr. Leslie Chow. Really? I knew Chuck Wagon won a lot of money, but he's gambling with Leslie Chow now? In fact, wow, this was just sent to me by an Asmaniac in Vegas. Unbelievable. Good for Chuck Wagon, man. Him and Leslie Chow, they deserve each other. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm counting all the names for the Asmaniac raffle. We're going to give away a jersey this morning. Get your entries in. No live show this afternoon, but Jets Collective at 3:30. Most likely not doing a live show tomorrow because I'm on the radio 10 to 1, then have to be a Fanatics Fest. So unless there's crazy Jet news, we'll take a Friday off. Saturday, we'll post some content on the channel, but our next live show we're targeting is Sunday. Sunday for the raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to the raffle just yet because I got to make sure this guy mentally is A-okay to even send us to the Wheel of Champions.
People used to call me Pits. That's why I shave my goddamn body here. That's why I shave my pits. That's why I want to stay fresh.
Why did they call you Pits?
Because I used to stink. Getting some cardio in today. Feeling good. Ooh, yeah.
That's not cardio.
Yeah, weightlifting. You try lifting these little bit, these hunk of beauties.
That's
right
weightlifting. Cardio would be if you went jogging or on a walking pad.
These things are fucking heavy.
Now,
Yeah.
Beast, did you see you were making global news with your reaction to England losing? Here was a picture of all the English fans crying, and you were featured.
As Lemmy Kilmister and Jet Juice Priest would all say, right here.
What happened?
Fuck that.
What happened to the English?
Fuck that.
What happened to Mother England? Too much fish and chips? I'm going to count the names here so everyone can enjoy Beast working out. How's the workout going?
A little sore. It's breaking it in.
You're sore?
Oh, bro. Hey, you try lifting these. Feel good.
How many pounds is that?
Yeah. There's three. There's three on each, and then there's two here. That's 20. That's 23 right there. The old number 23. And I know who represents 23 better than anybody else. The great Michael Jordan. F. LeBron James. That guy's a crybaby and a loser. And another one that supports number 23, the great Ray Sandberg. And also Don Mattingly.
Yeah, B, sometimes I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
All righty then. Well, folks, I'm ready for the Asmaniac raffle. Is the master raffle ceremony ready? Hopefully he's able to send us there after that very difficult workout we just witnessed. Shout out to Oregon Jets. He won some items in the merch store in a recent weekly raffle. And he has received both the hoodies that he requested. So good to hear, Oregon. Thank you. Got you down in the raffle coming up here for 4 total entries. Going to give away a Jets jersey shortly. But right now, let me get Mike Dems in the mix. And I see he just gifted a channel membership. Mike, you're in for 2. Thank you. Last call because we're going to spin it. And someone's going to win a prize on our only live Jake Asman show of the day. Collective at 3:30. Radio from 1 to 3 on ESPN New York. Mike Tannenbaum joining me at 1:30. Get Mike T's thoughts on the Jets and Aaron Glenn in year 2. And if he's excited to work with me again every Sunday in the fall. They better not start 0-7, Mike. That's all I'm going to say. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, it's time to bring on the master of raffle ceremony.
Oh, shit. You son of a bitch. I just got a little gas. Lex Luger telling you get ready for the wheel. Girls, wheel time. And this is what's coming from a world's champion. The wheel is in position. Lex Luger's going to tell you like how it is. Because we're made here. We're going to go 1, a 2, a 3, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Spin the wheel. Let's go.
Mr. Communist douchebag. It's time for that daily Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Wheel of Champions. It is time to see who's going to win a Jets Legends jersey. Again, if you win to claim your prize, contact me, asmanjake@gmail.com. We need to know the player you want, size you want it in, and your address. The winner of a Jets Legends jersey here on Thursday, July 16th is Mimosa. Mimosa, your winner. Hit it.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
Mimosa is the winner. Congrats, Mimosa. Shoot me a message with the player you want. I'm sorry I didn't get a picture with Mimosa, I realized, over the weekend. I don't think we did. I spent a lot of time talking to Mimosa, but I don't think we got a photo. But congrats to Mimosa. She won a Sadiq jersey a couple months ago on the show, and now she gets to pick between Namath, Klecko, Curtis Martin, Wayne Corbett, Terrell Revis, Nick Mangold, Keyshawn Johnson. Those are your choices for the Jets Legends jersey. All right. Before we get out of here, let's close the poll. Was Frankie V flirting in that interview? The Asmaniacs agree with Gary 3D Boxing. Frankie V, was he flirting? Yes. 65%. No. 35%. One more time. Tanky V, everybody. Hit it.
Throw it. Throw the ball. Throw the ball down the field. Go and throw it. Throw fucking 15, 16, 17 interceptions. Throw it down. You know?
And you think he's going to throw way more than
I
Justin
think
Fields
he
ever
might-
did?
He might throw like 50 interceptions this year. No.
50.
No.
No, he's actually going to throw the ball. We're actually going to get touchdowns this season, and we're going to make it to playoffs.
No, I don't think so. You know what? Hold on. Ready? Can you re-record something?
We're recording this whole
Okay.
time.
All right, we're gonna record. All right, I got something.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a show. Thanks everyone who tuned in. Again, 1 to 3 today, ESPN New York. Please put on the Michael K show as I'm in for K today, and then Jets Collective 3:30 today, or slightly after 3:30, depending on how slow the subway is getting back from the station. You guys are the best. Appreciate the Buffalo Jet fan for hopping on. I'll talk to you soon. Right now, how about a recap of what went down Saturday at Gangrene Beach Club? Hit it.
Hey, Asmaniacs, make sure to hit the like button and keep on supporting the Jake Asman Show.
That's right, Beef. If you don't subscribe to Jake Asman Show, the Jets will never win another game. Go Jets!